Hey everyone, Dr. Jump here. And so I have this little PDF document that I've created. It's 10 PDF pages. It's called 25 Hints and Tips for Learning Anatomy. And then I'm going to create some videos in which I just highlight one of those tips in a little bit more detail in video format. So if you want that PDF guide, you can find it on my website. You can't miss it. Just enter your contact information and I'll send that PDF to you. So in this video, what I'd like to do is describe in a little bit more detail tip number one and have you sort of work with that information for yourself so you can optimize your anatomy learning or your learning just in general. So tip number one is identify your learning style. And you want to do this so you can optimize your learning and make your learning highly effective for you and optimize basically how you set up all your learning and your studying. So you need to determine what learning style works the very best for you. And you may have a primary learning style, and then you might have a secondary learning style. But what is your primary learning style? That's the key thing to figure out to learn anatomy well. And then basically you're going to use that primary learning style to apply it to how you study, how you approach the classroom, and sort of tweak your behaviors, your studies, your tools, whatever you need to do to learn anatomy well. So what is your learning style? That's the key question to answer. And so many of you probably have a pretty good idea what your learning style is, and now it's just a matter of applying that to learning anatomy. So if you're a visual learner, you learn by looking at images or pictures of the content, and you can do this pretty easily with anatomy. If you're an auditory learner, you learn by listening to somebody giving a lecture or somebody describing a topic or content to you, or using a song, creating a song. If you're a verbal learner, you learn by reading or describing a particular topic with words. And so this comes in handy with anatomy, using anatomic terminology to describe various structures. If you're a physical learner, you learn by movement or using your body. Picking up objects. This is another way to say this is hands-on learner. If you're a logical learner, you connect things via logic, and so maybe you've determined that you're actually sort of a flowchart maker or an Excel spreadsheet maker. If you're a social learner, you learn by sharing that knowledge with others, so you're really drawn to study groups, for example. And then solitary, you learn by thinking, pondering on your own. So of these ones that are listed here, which one best describes you? If you've taken a class before, and I'm sure you have, what has worked for you in the past? Maybe you have a combination here. Maybe you have one of these that's a primary learning style for you. Then you have one that's secondary that you use as well, but maybe not as much as you use the primary one. So then as you apply it to anatomy, you could apply, if you're a visual learner, you could use an anatomy atlas where they have a bunch of pictures. You could copy and paste lecture pictures into PowerPoint for a slideshow and then just move through that slideshow to see these different pictures over and over and over again and use repetition to your advantage there. If you're an auditory learner, you can listen to a lecture. You're really just going to dial into a lecture and just take in all the words. You can listen to another student describing the content or a podcast. If you want me to create a podcast for you to answer a specific question or a group of questions, I can. Verbal, you stick to your textbook. You can maybe have your notes beside you while you're listening to a lecture. So I've found a lot of students in my class, they're attending the lecture, they pick up what they can. They don't naturally learn via lecture, but they can have something they're referring to while they're in the lecture. And then they'll pick up whatever they can, but they're reading and they're looking at the slides as well. Physical is where it comes in handy to really use these anatomy models, to pick them up, to take them apart, to find these structures on models. You can find any of these on Amazon if you want them for yourself or other sites as well. Logical, you're going to use flowcharts or diagrams. You're going to basically trace the course of nerves and blood vessels. Another way you could do this is you create spreadsheets of categories. For example, all the muscles that attach to the greater tubercle of the humerus, or just an example, or the nerves that serve the upper limb. You're just going to create categories for whatever content you're learning and just compartmentalize it very logically. Social, you'll just be a study group person. And so if you're not a social learner, for example, You'll want to structure your classroom learning in such a way that you sort of move away from this. You sort of bring your own learning style to that. But if you're a social learner, you'll thrive in a lab setting. And you'll want to just optimize your learning for that, to that end. If you're a solitary learner, you need to find those go-to silent study spots. And often, if you're a verbal learner, you need to do that in solitary, read in solitary. So I'd encourage you to think about these. How do these apply to you? Which one works best for you? Which one maybe works next best for you? And there's various ways to approach this. And then I would encourage you to set up your study to optimize your learning style and how you learn best. So it's easy to go with the flow. The classroom is not always set up perfectly for you to learn. It maybe hits on one of your learning styles, maybe a secondary one, but maybe it doesn't speak to your primary learning style. And it's easy to go with the flow with that. So sort of be mindful how you learn in the classroom and then how you learn outside of the classroom, and then find those tools that help you learn the best. And so being smart about this can really dramatically enhance your effectiveness. And so many of us are very busy with kids and families. So optimizing your study basically helps you get to your goal faster. And your goal, I'm assuming, is to do very, very well in anatomy and learn it as fast and effectively as you can. And so another thing, another key takeaway here is to ask somebody who's gone before. You can certainly connect with me if I can help you, if I work for you, or just find somebody else who's taken this before. What have they used? And maybe find somebody who's similar to you, maybe a fellow social learner if you're a social learner as well. Like, how did that work for them? What did that look like? So those are some tips for you for tip number 1 in my 25 hints and tips for learning anatomy. Again, you can find that guide over on my website. I'll send you the PDF with those 25 hints and tips. And stay tuned for another few videos in which I describe in a little bit more detail some of these tips that I think are pretty helpful for you for learning anatomy. So take care and have a good day. I'll see you later.